Hey everybody! You know what time it is. It's time for T-shirt on the tube. T-shirt, t-shirt, t-shirt on the tube. T-shirt, t-shirt, t-shirt on the tube. T-shirt, t-shirt, t-shirt on the tube. How's everybody doing? How was your weekend? How was your week? Happy Sunday. All that jazz. So I am here to do Married to Medicine review, season, 7, episode 2. Let's get into it. So it pretty much continued off from last week with the party. They didn't really show any more things about the party. First off, let me get into the new theme song, okay? I don't really care about the new theme song. I don't appreciate these shows coming back on these seasons with these new theme songs that we did not ask for. I don't care for the new theme song because it does not sound as lit as the original theme song, but I will say the ladies look beautiful and they're opening the sequences or whatever when they're introduced. They look beautiful. I just don't care for the new theme song. I feel like the old theme song, the beat was lit. Now Paige and Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, Dr. Heavenly, Dr. Contessa, Toya, Quad, Mariah, boom, 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 doo, doo, doo. Like, that was lit. It sounds mad, like auto-tune and choppy now. I don't care for it. I like the old theme song, but I don't think we have the power to change it like we did for Power, But anyway, so it starts off with Heavenly and her daughter Allura. Let me say this. Since Dr. Heavenly has been on this show, her daughter Allura is my spirit animal, okay? That little girl is the only person that can get Dr. Heavenly. She's the only person that humbles the hell out of Dr. Heavenly real quick. I love Allura. Ever since she graced my screen, I have been in love with that little girl. And the fact that she's a teenager and she can still humble the hell out of her mother, it amazes me. I love Heavenly, but sometimes Heavenly need to be knocked off her high horse because sometimes Heavenly thinks she knows everything when she doesn't. And Allura is definitely Heavenly's child. She be telling Heavenly about herself all the time, and I'm here for it. So they're on a no date, and Allura is now 13, which is like, oh my god. And they're talking about boys, and she's like, when do you think you should be able to date? And Allura is like, 15. And she's like, no, I don't want you to date until you're 22. And she's like, Ma, 22? When did you have your first boyfriend? She's like, 15, but we were just talking. He was my friend and all that. And she's like, so you really expect for me not to date at 15? Like, I'm a teenager. She's like, in 2 years, do you think you'll be ready? She's like, I don't know, but I feel like that's the ideal time for me to date. As with all little girls, like, it's a rite of passage, So, they're just talking about boys, usual mother-daughter stuff, and Heavenly is like, I just feel like we don't spend as much time together where, you always used to come out with me to places, you always used to be up under me, we always used to have a good time together, and it's like now you stay in your room and you don't really talk to me. And she's like, well, Ma, I'm 13, like, I don't want to be up under you anymore. I'm coming into my own. I'm growing up. And she's like, yeah, but, that don't mean you can't still be around your mother. And I'm like, Heavenly, you were 13 before. You remember what it was like? These kids don't want to be up under us all the time. Like, well, my kids are 5 and 7. My kids want to be up under me all day, every day. And it annoys the hell out of me. But I know when they get older, I'm going to miss it. So I'm trying to enjoy it now. But it's like, it's only but so much I could take. But Heavenly's like, I feel like this talk that we're having, it just means that you want us to spend more time together. And she's like, no, I don't. And I'm just sitting here like, Heavenly, take the hint. Give that girl some space. She will come to you when she feel like, she wants to hang out. So now we get to Contessa and Scott. This was an intense scene because Scott is in the house and he's doing his thing, despite being overwhelmed, despite taking on being well, I don't want to say single dad because he's married, you know, but he's being Mr. Mom, if you will. You know, Contessa is in Nashville pursuing her, I think, public health, is it public health degree? I think that's what it was. So she's pursuing that or whatever. And, you know, Scott is pretty much holding down the fort in Atlanta while she's in Nashville. So Contessa's, you know, coming home on this night. And, you know, she's in the car. She just left the airport. She's calling her father. Mind you, I had to rewind this because I thought when she was on the phone, she was talking to Scott. She was talking to her father and told her father that she landed and that she's 5 minutes from the house. So on her way to the house, she orders McDonald's. I hate getting on camera and yawning. I hate it. And mind you, my sleep has been weird today. So like my energy is all over I don't know what's going on. I think I might have a thyroid problem. I don't know. But I'm forever yawning. It's irritating. So, yeah. So she goes to McDonald's, the drive-thru, and picks up food for the kids or whatever. Mind you, Scott is in the house. He done did laundry. He done cooked. You know, he got to fold the laundry, but he's trying to get the kids situated and stuff and get them ready for school. So she comes in, says hi, like, oh, I got you guys food or whatever. So Scott off rip is like, dead ass, like, you bought them food and I cooked? And, you know, it's late. They should be in a bed. And she's like, oh, I know. I just wasn't sure. You know, I just wanted to make sure everybody ate. He's like, you really think I'm not going to feed the kids this time of night? I'm like, yeah. So he's like, why didn't you call me? You know, you would have known that I cooked her. She's like, I'm sorry. I didn't, you know, I forgot to call or whatever. So, he's like, you should have called me. It was a miscommunication. And, you know, the kids are like just now going to bed. Now we got to get them settled. That's going to keep them up. So, she's like, yeah, but, you know, you got laundry sitting here. You know, I can tell that you're overwhelmed. I can tell it's a lot. But he's like, yeah, I have laundry sitting here. You didn't even know that if when I put the kids to bed, the dishes are going to get done. The laundry is going to be folded. You don't even know that that's my 5th load that I've done today. You don't know nothing. You're not even realizing that I'm working my ass off. And she's like, yeah, but we both know that the dishes aren't going to get done and the laundry's not going to get folded. We all know that that's not going to. And I'm like, damn, Contessa, you just stabbed him in the damn throat. Because the man is sitting up here holding down the house while you decided to go to school in another state. And he's like, and she was like, no, this is what she said. She was like, oh, well, you know, we decided that I would go to Nashville to pursue my degree. And he's like, no, you decided. And then you thought that it would be okay to uproot our family and move to Nashville. I wasn't doing that. So that's why I decided to stay and hold down the fort. And she's like, yeah, but, you know, I can tell that you're overwhelmed. I can tell that you need my help. I can tell that, you know, it's like a dependence upon me to keep the house clean and all this other stuff. And I'm like, bruh, this man sat up here, did laundry. He's getting the kids together. He done cooked. He done fed them. He's doing his very best. And the one thing I hate is that with some women, yeah, there's a certain way that we go about doing things and there's a certain way that men go about doing things. And he clearly is doing his absolute best despite being overwhelmed, despite having his own career in medicine, you know, dealing with 3 kids. It's a lot. And, you know, of course, I'm not going to say, I'm a mother. I know it's a lot on a mother, too. I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue your dreams. I'm just saying they need to communicate. And we could clearly see that in this scene. So she's like, he's like, you don't even appreciate the fact that I'm working my ass off. She's like, yeah, I do appreciate you. He's like, well, you know what? Appreciate some time to yourself and go study. I'm sure you got to go study, right? And then he walks away like he stormed off. And she's like, well, I can't study now. I have to do dishes. I'm like, damn. Terrible. Terrible. How she came in there from jump was just dead wrong. Because you didn't even call him and let him know, you know, hey, from what it seemed like, it don't even seem like she probably let him know that she was at the airport, but didn't know that she she didn't let him know that she landed. Nothing. So major miscommunication. So now we get to Jackie and Heavenly, and here we go. They're catching up, and they're discussing the party, and Heavenly felt that Simone was just disrespectful for everything that she was saying pertaining to the whole situation with Cecil. And Jackie is just like, she wants Simone and Heavenly to get back to a place where they were good, because she doesn't like being in the middle. And it kind of makes her tear up because she's in the middle and they've always hung out together. They took the trip to Heavenly's hometown in Miami, you know, just so Heavenly could like finally face her demons or whatever, like her past. So it is kind of sad to see the fact that Heavenly and Simone are going at it the way they are. And it really bothers Jackie. She doesn't want to be in the middle, but she does want to bring the ladies together. So Heavenly is like, you know, I don't want you to feel like you're in the middle. I honestly, truly apologize. You know, I don't want you to feel like you're in the middle. You're my friend. You know, I love you, blah, blah, blah. So Heavenly was like, I feel like we need to get back to a place where we respect each other. I think that's what's missing in this group. We don't respect each other anymore, and then it becomes like a domino effect of just mess, which is the truth. So Heavenly was like, it's not just me that's, you know, shady or that's involved in some mess. You in some mess too. And Jackie's like, well, I don't understand why Mariah is so upset or whatever. And Jackie is like, she wants to bring the ladies together to like have high tea, and she calls it an emerging tea meeting or whatever, so that way they could deal with all the issues, put everything at like in the forefront, deal with it and move on. So now we get to Simone and Toya, and Toya is visiting Simone because she ended up in the ER. She was 6 or 7 weeks pregnant. Her and the boys in Eugene were excited about the pregnancy, and the next thing you know, she had a miscarriage. So she doesn't really know how to feel about it, and Simone is asking her, are you dealing with your feelings, or are you hoarding them and hiding them because you feel like you have to put on a brave face for your kids and your husband? And she's like, well, you know, I spoke to Eugene about it, and he's just like, he's fine, and this is just another thing he can add to his virtual shelf of failures. And she's like, she doesn't want to cry around the boys because she doesn't want them sad about it. So Simone is like, this is not a failure. You know, miscarriages are beyond your control. There's nothing you could have done to save it. It's just something that happens, and we don't understand why it happens. So don't look at it as a failure. You know, it's something that's beyond your control, and you can't control everything. So Simone is like, you know, I am a doctor, but I'm also empathetic first and foremost. And I just want to console Toya and reassure her that everything is okay. That, you know, it's a terrible loss and it's a terrible feeling, but pretty much this too shall pass. Like, it's not the end of anything. It's actually the beginning of something new. So Simone is like, after they finish the visit or whatever, Simone is like, well, how do you feel or whatever, talking to me, and, you know, you're in this predicament. And she's like, well, I don't feel weird talking to you. I just feel weird having a conversation with somebody who just was all up in my vagina and they're not a man. So Simone was like, well, on that note, I'm gonna leave. So I thought that was a cute little moment to be had between friends. But I mean, I get it. It's a lot of women out here who've had miscarriages and they feel like it's their fault or what they could have done differently. It's just something that happens that is out of your control, and it happens more often than not to a lot of women. So now we get to Quad, Contessa, and Heavenly, and they're catching up, and Contessa is telling them about the whole issue with Scott and how she said that she feels like he's you know, just a situation where he's just feeling a way about the stuff that he has going on or whatever. And Quad is pretty much telling her, like, you know, if nothing else, make sure you have your own. So if you're going to school to, you know, get your degree, there's nothing wrong with that, but y'all do have to communicate. So then they ask Quad about her divorce, and Quad is like, they're currently in mediation, which I think would bring down the divorce. Like, because I've done mediation or whatever with my children's father, and it actually worked out better. I feel like mediation should be a process that everybody takes before they make a final decision. Like, there should always be mediation before a divorce or mediation before child support. I feel like mediation smooths it out and leaves you with the decision of, should we or do we have to take this to court, versus no, we could just solve it right here, air out everything, come to a mutual agreement, and walk away happy. So I feel like mediation should always be the first step people take before they make a major decision. So Quad is like, mediation is going okay. And then they flash back to her saying that her divorce was very nasty, which I'm sure, because her and Dr. G towards the end they were a mess to each other. So Heavenly is like, well, do you think you're ready to date? And Quad is like, I'm good right now. I'm not in no rush to date. I'm having fun. I'm living life. So Heavenly is like, no, I feel like you're ready to date just for fun or whatever. So they're like, what kind of man do you want? She's like, whatever man that I get has to be amazing. And they're like, well, what about his penis? She said it has to be long and hard. I'm like, okay. So, she's like, one thing that my daddy told me is not to lay down with every man that you meet, and I've never been that kind of girl or whatever. And I'm like, it is what it is. Everybody picks and chooses what they want to do, but I mean, don't bash people who sleep with every person they meet or make the decision to sleep with whomever they meet. People like what they like. Let them live their life, honey. So Heavenly is like, well, thank God I've only been with one man, because that's the only spirit that's been on me. And she's like, Quad was like, if you lay down with every person you meet, their spirit jumps onto you, which I am a firm believer of. Like, if you lay down with every person you meet, their negative energy, because I'm an energy person, their negative energy does transfer over to you. So you do have to be careful what kind of souls you invite into your space, because there are some souls out here that are meant to disturb your peace. So protect it at all costs or whatever. So everybody's like, well, lies you tell, Heavenly. He wasn't the only man you was with, but I digress. I'm like, child, either Heavenly been with Damon for as long as, yeah, it's whatever. She like it, I love it. So now we get to Jackie's emergency meeting, and Jackie has a spiritual mediator there, pretty much just to be the person in the middle, so that it's not biased. This person does not know any of the ladies. It's just that she knows that Jackie just wants to clear the air and rekindle the sisterhood. So she really, really, really wants Simone and Heavenly to fix their issues, because at one point they were really good friends, and she's very sad that they're not friends right now. So Mariah is at home getting ready, and she's trying to figure out what to wear, and she's discussing the fact that like pretty much her expectations, because she's pretty much disappointed in like the whole situation with Jackie. Like, she feels like, yeah, even though Quad is the one that made the whole cokehead allegation, Jackie pretty much took it and ran with it and brought it up again, as opposed to having that discussion with Mariah. She had it as a discussion on her podcast, and that seemed a little shady. So Simone and Toya are on their way to the meeting, and they're discussing their expectations of the meeting. And Toya said that she spoke to Eugene about the whole situation of Contessa calling Eugene a bitch, and she's like, at this point, she's tired of arguing with Contessa. They don't have to be friends. They don't have to be nothing. But she's just tired of having the same argument with Contessa, and she just wants it to end at this point. So the ladies start to arrive, and well, Heavenly was the first one, and she tells Heavenly that they have a 2-drink minimum maximum. So Heavenly is like, no, it's minimum. She's like, no, maximum. She's like, maximum means, overall, like you could keep going. Minimum means, this is it or whatever. She's like, yeah, 2-drink maximum. So they arguing over minimum and maximum for like 5 minutes. So Mariah walks in. Coincidentally, her and Heavenly are wearing the same colors. This is not the first time that Heavenly and Mariah have matched. I think that these two low-key like each other, but they just hate to admit it. And they have similar tastes, because at one of the reunions, I forgot what season, they had on the same earrings and shoes. And I think Mariah took off her shoes and her earrings and wore it, and it was just like that the whole reunion. So it's a lot of awkward tension as the ladies arrive. Nobody's really saying anything or whatever. So Jackie made sure to give each lady a journal, and they pretty much can write what they're feeling or whatever. And she also has cards that say, I'm disappointed because, I'm hurt because, I'm confused because, I'm this. Like, pretty much I feel statements and conversation starters rather than it being negative, pointing the fingers type of thing, which I thought was really good. So Jackie just wants the circle to be unbroken. She feels like they have a sisterhood that they need to come back to, and it's unbroken. Like, it's so many friendships that are just jacked up at this point. So she introduces Alyssa as the mediator, and Alyssa is just there to mediate, and she's like, I'm biased. I don't know anything about you ladies besides the fact that Jackie is your friend. She loves you all, and she wants y'all to come together. So Mariah picked I'm disappointed because she felt like Jackie violated girl code by repeating what Quad had said the last reunion. I feel like Mariah should be more so mad at Quad, but I think at this point Mariah has just accepted Quad for who she is, and I think it disappoints her more because she held Jackie to a higher regard, and for Jackie to repeat it made her feel away. That's what I took from it. So Simone is hurt and disappointed in Heavenly's betrayal because she shared, she vented her frustrations about Cecil to her girlfriend, and she felt like Heavenly went on Twitter and just aired out all of her business, which she kind of did, because if Simone confided in you about her husband, and that's something that she was like, it was a sensitive topic because her and Cecil went through a lot within the past couple of years. It was a sensitive topic, and she vented that to you, and you took it to Twitter. That is definitely a violation. So Heavenly is pretty much confused as to why Simone feels away or whatever, and she's like, dare not speak on someone else's flaws until you look at the plank in your own eye. And they like, you quoting the Bible? And she's like, hell yeah. Toya's like, that is not the Bible. That's some bull. And I'm like, but Heavenly, you still haven't acknowledged that you aired out your friend's business. Pretty much. You aired out your friend's business at a time where she was frustrated because Simone is like the top breadwinner in her house. Like, her husband, he worked or whatever, but he left his job for whatever reason. That's their business. So of course she's going to be frustrated because she's the head one in charge, and all the responsibility falls on her. But Simone should have communicated that with Cecil as opposed to going to her girlfriends, which I hope she did. I hope her and Cecil had a discussion about it and came to a happy medium. It seems like they did. So Toya pretty much is disappointed in herself because she calls people her friend and they aren't. Toya, if ever there was a moment that me and you could relate, it's now. Because I have that same exact issue, which is why a lot of people, like, now, my cutoff game is strong with people. Like, you only get one chance to show me who you are, and I'm done with you. Because I've had it to where I thought people were my friend, and they were dragging my name through the mud behind my back, and I didn't know it. Smiling in my face, though. I've had people who claimed they were my friends, and then when I needed them the most, they were nowhere to be found. But anytime they needed me, I was ready, willing, and able, available, all of that. So I get it. I use the friend term too loosely, and I as recent as last week, I could say, I use the friend term too loosely, and I have to stop doing that and putting people in categories for where they belong. So if you're my friend, you have to earn the title of friend. So you start off as an associate, you may be bumped up to an acquaintance, and then if I see that I could trust you for some time or whatever, then you're my friend. And then if I could see that you're loyal, like, it's levels. It's levels to it. And that's what I'm learning. So I get where Toya is coming from, where she felt like she was calling people a friend and they're not her friend, and she's like, she doesn't want to confide in these ladies about her miscarriage because they wouldn't care. Rightfully so. It's a sore subject, and right now they'll take it. I mean, they may understand that might be the glue that brings them together, but right now it's such a raw topic. it wouldn't have been the right place to talk about it right then and there anyway, you know? So she just feels like they don't care about her miscarriage. They just care about themselves right now. So Quad is sitting up here naturally, got to be her old dramatic self, taking more than one card. And Jackie is like, for time's sake, could you just do your top two or whatever? So she's like, she felt like the whole entire time she was married, nobody had her back. And even going through her divorce, she felt like her name was dragged through the mud. And she's going on and on and on and on. And how I feel, going back to season 1, I do feel like in season 1, the ladies did poke at her about her marriage. I will say that. They did poke at her about her marriage. Now, season 2 on, I feel like because the ladies were like, all of them were married for a long time, they were giving Quad advice. Granted, they were projecting their feelings about her marriage onto her, but I feel like Quad really didn't know what she wanted to do as far as being married with Dr. G. Like, he kept expressing that he wanted children. Quad knew that she did not want children right then and there, but she also was doing things that you're not supposed to do in a marriage. Like, I think she was taking birth control, and I think Dr. G wanted her to stop taking birth control so they could have a baby. She didn't want to do that. She wasn't ready for a baby right then and there. So it's like, if you know this man wants a baby and you don't want a baby, you know that's going to be clashing in your marriage. So, you know, like, y'all got to come to a happy medium, because once you get married, it's not just me anymore. It's us. We're now one. So she's pretty much like going on and on and on and saying how she felt like this and she felt like that, she felt attacked, blah blah blah. So everybody's like, you know. So Toya is in the confessional and she's like, all right, so I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna come back. So then they flip it back to Quad. Quad's still going. Toya comes back in her confessional like, Quad's still going? All right, I'll be back, and walks away. I was dying because Quad was rambling. So Quad was like, there is one lady that I do want to reconnect with, and that lady is Simone. Would you be willing to reconnect with me? And Simone is like, yes, I'm willing to reconnect. So after that, they did a circle up and a prayer. I noticed that they didn't show Contessa going. I wonder why. I was interested to hear what Contessa had to say, because Contessa and Toya are not cool by no means right now. So Simone and Quad said that they'll discuss what they need to discuss outside of the group of ladies, and Jackie and Mariah were talking, and Mariah was like, you know, I'm glad that you acknowledged, you know, how my feelings or whatever. You know, Jackie is like, listen, a journey of 1,000,000 steps starts with one. So baby steps at this point. So now we get to Simone and Quad meeting up, and Simone is sitting there. She texts Quad like at 7:45 and was like, hey, any drink requests? Quad, I guess Quad didn't answer. So now Simone is waiting and waiting and waiting, and time is going and going and going. And Simone is like, this is classic Quad, because she's always late to something. So Quad literally showed up an hour late. Whoa. Whoa. And no text, no response, no nothing. Just, you know, you don't care about people's time? Okay. So Quad is like, yeah, so like, you know, let's just discuss, you know, everything that's going on or whatever. And da-da-da-da. So she jumps right into it. So Simone is like, oh, okay, no small talk, no nothing. All right. She's like, no, girl, I ain't got time for that. I got to work in the morning. So Simone is like, I'm so confused. This doesn't sound like the same person that wants to reconnect. So Quad is like, she still feels a way about the way Simone came at her at Heavenly's crab boil. And Simone is like, are you serious? You're still going on about something that happened a year ago when we moved past that, and I told you at the reunion that if you need me for anything, if you just want to talk, you can call me. I'm here for you. Really? You're still in your feelings about something I said to you at a crab boil? So Simone is like, I'm not going to discuss this again. I'm not going to rehash this. Clearly what I said at that crab boil struck a nerve because it was the truth. I don't have time for this. And she gets up and walks away. So Quad is like, oh, see, you running. See, but when you had something to say when I told you to say something, then you didn't say anything. Now you running scared. You old lying ass. So Simone was like, get out of here with that or whatever, and walks off. So Quad is still in the restaurant. Simone drove off, and it pretty much ended there. And I'm like, child, like, really, Quad? You still bothered about what she said at the crab boil? It was the truth. You really, like, Quad really has developed this whole victim thing, which I feel like she's developed season 2, when the whole thing with her and Mariah no longer being friends happened. Now every season she's a victim. Something is always happening to her. Not knowing that she does play a part in a lot of the mess that's the reason why a lot of her friendships like fail. And then she didn't want to discuss nothing in her marriage. She didn't want to discuss nothing in her divorce. But everybody was going through something. When Toya was going through her tax problems, she was discussing Toya's tax problems. When Jackie when the stuff went down with Dr. Jackie and Curtis and his infidelity, she was discussing that. Like, everybody's marriage is a topic of conversation until it happens to you, right? So I'm like, why are you so bothered by the crab boil when y'all got over that? And y'all are supposed to be reconnecting and bonding, and you bring this up. I'm like, child. And I like Quad. I've liked Quad since the first season, but the way she moving is beyond. But yeah, that was, Married to Medicine. You guys let me know how you feel about it. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Oh, really quick, I'm going to just say this. Dr. Heavenly liked my post for the first episode of Married to Medicine, and I did, and I'm, shout out to her. And I was so excited that she liked the post or whatever. So yeah, that made me feel really good. And it's just like little things like that that's just making me feel really, really good about being back on YouTube. Like, I'm not really caring to do it for, I enjoy the views. I love having people watch. I love having people relate, comment. I love interacting with people. But I'm also do this for me because it's a hobby and I enjoy doing it. And it makes me feel good. It's something that makes me feel like I'm doing something for myself. So I appreciate everybody who supported me in this journey, and I think I'm gonna do a separate video giving out thank yous and stuff, because it's been amazing coming back like nearly a month ago, and just the praise and reviews I'm getting from it is just amazing. I love it. But yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Email. My email is in every single description in the videos I've done since I came back, so feel free to contact me at any point in time with any questions, comments, concerns. I am always available to read and answer. I do comment back or whatever, but please like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about T-shirt on the tube. T-shirt on the tube. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night. Later.